why you stick with the lineup instead of making a couple of changes. Certainly you would have had the ammunition to justify maybe switching up one of the defense pairings or something like that.
Yeah, and during the season we've changed the lineup when we've maybe had a lackluster performance, but after with everything that went on in that game and that night, I thought it was important to let the same lineup redeem themselves, and rather than take somebody out and make one or two guys accountable for a whole team. So we'll go right back with the same lineup and look for a better result.
Is that the mindset of you guys in that room right now? Is that we lost to Buffalo and got embarrassed by Calgary, but we got to kind of wipe the slate?
Well, yeah, and hey, we can't forget what we've been through here. We had a terrible start through whatever it was, the first 20 games, and then we played some good hockey for 10 or 11, and then we had another tough stretch, and then over the last 20 games we had been pretty good, and now we played an okay game against Buffalo. I don't think it was a terrible game by any means, and then in a 6-minute span that in the second period we fell apart and we couldn't recover, and it went right on into the third. So this group's been through it, and they do amaze me sometimes with their resiliency. And yesterday at practice we had a real good practice, and this morning they're upbeat. I took the temperature of the room with a few players. Good feedback from everybody, and we're getting ready for the big test tonight.
Is there an update on Fost?
None other than they're going to re-evaluate him today. We're hopeful that he just banged his head and sprained his neck, but the doctor wanted to look at him again today before making any further assessment. So we were kind of in a holding pattern until tonight. I think he's scheduled to skate later this week because he's got that fracture in his ankle, and I can't remember the date, how many days from when the injury, but I think later this week he's able to get back on the ice.
When you look back, at the San Jose game tape, just prepping for tonight, were you even more amazed by Ben's outing, or you were amazed enough that night that nothing kind of surprised you with the 59 save performance?
Well, Ben played the game by himself that night. We stood around and watched him play, and it was an amazing performance. So, San Jose hasn't changed their game much, and I don't know why they would. I watched a good part of the game last night against Calgary, and they're a powerful team that can beat you a number of ways. So we certainly can't come around and stand and watch tonight. We've got to skate.
There's always lots of talk about how Ryan Nugent-Hopkins fares against these bigger centers in the league. How have you seen his development on the defensive side, playing against guys that Joe Thornton, the big centers that he's got to come up against?
Yeah, I think he's in the fight every night. I think he's doing the absolute best that he can. It's a baptism by fire when you're that age and you're being asked to take on that big a role. But that's where we're at right now with our group. So I think he's improved in some areas, and I think he continues to battle in some areas. And the biggest thing for Ryan is his strength, and that's where it just takes time. You don't get strength in 2 weeks of workouts or 2 months. This is going to take time for him to grow into a man. But the thing I like about Ryan is he doesn't shy away from it. When you let him know who he's going to be playing against or who he's probably going to see, he's ready for it, and he gives us his best effort. And his biggest improvement this year is where he's gone from not killing penalties at all to being one of our top guys now. And that is a massive role, for a guy of his stature.
know you guys are supposed to look at one game at a time, and a lot of guys do, but do you see this chunk coming up here at the end and go, okay, we have a work cut out for them, we can play some pretty tough teams.
Yeah, well, you can get all nervous about it and go, geez, you know what, these are the top teams, but this is our conference. You better get used to it. And we just prep them the same way, that we're going to do everything we can to go out and compete and play hard against this team, and there's another one coming right behind it. So you have to go play the game. You can't shy away from it, and that's what we're looking at right now, and is who is going to shy away and who isn't, because our conference isn't changing, and the way the teams are in this conference are building their teams, it's not changing either. And we need players who are up to that challenge to go in and fight for every inch on that ice.
Talk about redeeming yourself, giving your team a chance to redeem themselves, Dallas. As far as from a coach's point of view, what do you want to see from them as far as the way they're going to play? Well,
I'd like to see us come out how we actually did in the Calgary game. Like, I thought we started very well, but we made some mental mistakes, some casual mistakes in the second period. But for me, it's going to be our start if we're skating, if we're hard on the puck, if we're putting pucks to the net early, and it's basically the simple habit game, and the game that San Jose plays so well, that Anaheim plays so well, St. Louis plays so well, that they play the simplest games. It is a game of simplicity, of straight lines and stops, and that's what we need to see early. And it's one of these nights. There's some nights where you might not have to do that the whole 60 minutes, and you can get out of the game with a win. But if you don't do that tonight, it's going to be trouble.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.